Welcome back here in the locker room at Beaver Stadium with Penn State head coach James Franklin. Coach, Pitt Week has now arrived. Lots of excitement right now among the fans, lots of buzz on social media. How exciting is it to know that the fans are really excited about getting back in Beaver Stadium for week 2?
Yeah, I think that's what makes, football so special, especially college football, is we just have a limited amount of games, so it really puts a major emphasis on the regular season, where a lot of other sports, it's about the postseason. So, obviously we only get so many opportunities with our friends and our family and the Letterman and the community in Beaver Stadium, so we want to enjoy it. And I think last week we had great numbers and great support, especially under the circumstances. I think we had 101,000, so I'm expecting the stadium to be rocking on Saturday, and we're going to need that. We're going to need that all year long.
And then as a standard procedure, kind of going back from the Akron game, grading through the tape, what were some of you and the staff's biggest takeaways from what you were able to learn from week 1?
I thought we executed really well. I thought we played hard. I mean, obviously you look at DeAndre's punt return for a touchdown, and it was a great play on his part. But you go back and you study the tape. There's a lot of guys that were really busting their humps to block for him. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of people that went into that play being successful. So that was nice to see. And then I thought offensively, our offensive line was the players of the week on offense for us. I thought Brendan Mann played really well, very, very physical. It's great having him back, his leadership, his experience. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I thought we did some really nice things. I thought Amani's turnover was a big-time play for us. He looked so comfortable playing the ball in the air. To hold a team to basically no big plays the entire game. We gave up one at the end, but when you're able to get turnovers and stop big plays, you're going to be hard to deal with on defense.
And then thinking back a little bit more to that game, specifically as it relates to the offense, when the receivers are able to block downfield, how much does that elevate kind of what the offense is able to do?
Very much so. We spent a lot of time kind of talking about that and working on that in the off-season and during camp. Had a lot of really good one-on-one sessions. When you think about one-on-one, you always think about wide receiver DB, one-on-one receiving. But we did a lot of one-on-one wide receiver DB blocking and block destructions. I thought that was an area on both sides of the ball that we needed to get better. Defeating blocks, which we call block destruction on the defense side of the ball, and then on offense being able to sustain blocks. So that was really good work, and without going against each other, it's really hard to kind of get the true evaluation of where you're at. So that was, I think, really, really important for us. But yeah, it starts with our O-line, always will. And then obviously the tight end we look at as kind of an extension of the offensive line, and then obviously having a talented back like Saquon Barkley, that gets you 6 to 8 yards, and then being able to have receivers either running guys off in man coverage or being able to sustain blocks and create space now allow Saquon to take it to the next level.
And then if I shift a little bit into Pittsburgh, from some of the film studies and everything that you guys have been working on, what's jumping out to you right now about this Pittsburgh team?
Well, obviously, they're a hard-nosed, blue-collar, well-coached team. You look at last year. Although different than what was reported, we were the underdog, I think, in almost every report I saw. But they are a physical team. They last year they were able to find a way to get a win against us and against Clemson. So obviously very talented. You look at their team last year; they had a bunch of guys drafted and go on to the NFL. And really they've done a good job this year. Same defensive staff, same defensive philosophy. They tweaked a few things. On the offensive side of the ball, they brought in a new offensive coordinator, but you can see he brought somebody in that has a similar philosophy. And if I had to imagine, he's probably taken a lot of their verbiage, a lot of their system, and then tweaked some of his own stuff in there. So that's what we've seen. And then, I think their special teams coordinator does it as good as anywhere. They've been really good on special teams, and their kick returner and punt returner was an All-American last year. I think he's probably the biggest threat in the game that I see.
When you think about Quadri Henderson, how do you go about kind of neutralizing his ability? Can you neutralize his ability?
Well, I think first it starts with kick location, on kickoff and punt, and then getting all 10 guys and the kicker covering down the field the way we need to cover. He's a guy that is going to make plays in space, and he's got tremendous speed. He was a major factor in our game last year, so obviously he's the guy that I've been talking to the staff and we'll talk to the team about today. he's the guy that I think, we have to be really, really aware of and try to limit the impact that he's going to have.
And then you mentioned that kind of hard-nosed physicality. How important right now is depth and experience as it relates to guys kind of already being battle-tested in those certain situations?
I think it really helps. Being able to play 60 players last week really helps kind of build on that. It builds guys' confidence. Obviously, their O-line is big and physical. They are big. I mean, the one guy's 340 pounds, the other guy's 320 pounds, and they're over 300 across the board and got tremendous length. So that's going to be something that's going to be really important. So the fact that we have so many defensive linemen that we're playing that we can keep fresh is going to help us. And then, our offensive line is returning a number of players and played well last week. We expect to have Andrew Nelson back this week as well. So that's going to help us. That's going to be a critical battle in this game.
Well, thank you so much, Coach. We're certainly looking to seeing you out there on Saturday.
Thank you.